Council of the University of Education, Winneba, has constituted an investigative committee to unravel last week's disturbances leading to the closure of the universities. The decision to suspend academic activities, which is still in force, was triggered after students went on riot, leading to the destruction of property worth 250,000 cedis on campus. This was after an assessment done by the engineers. Richard Kojonyako went with the council during their tour of the affected sites and has filed this report.
So the Governing Council, including the chairman of the Governing Council of the University of Education, Winneba, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Anthony Afro-Broni, they are touring the places that the students damaged in the course of the riots and all the protests. They've gone to the Central Campus, they are here at the South Campus, and they've already done the North Campus as well. As you can see up here, all these glasses have been shattered. The doors to this, they've been broken. We are in the building where they caused some damage to the glasses and some of the property here. Look at the notice board. The notice board here has also been badly damaged. It was made of glass, and the glasses have been shattered. If you look at the door, so both the entry and the exit points have all been damaged by the protesting students. And so that is exactly what the Governing Council of the University of Education, Winneba, is going around looking at them to have a first-hand information about whatever went on.
The day after the incident occurred, we went round to the various facilities that were affected. At the North Campus, we have the Jofus Anamoah Mensah Conference Center, which serves as a ground where we normally hold congregations, graduations for various students. At such place, we had some of the glazed windows destroyed and then the glazed doors. And this was repeated at other places, other facilities, including departments. The Department of French Education, Educational Resource Center, Hypers Department, Graphics Communication Department, Graphic Design Department. And even at the JCR block, we had some other damages done. Mainly, the damage involved the breakage of glazed windows and doors. You had some air conditioning outdoor units also damaged. You had some fans and then some signboards and other facilities. At the registrar's duty post and the executive guest house, there was also an attack on the building. You know, around the time that this occurred, usually you had people in some of the buildings at the time of the attack. So when the stones are thrown, one is not very sure of the safety of the people. Yeah.
This is one of the buses that got destroyed in the process. I mean, we can see the extent of damage that has been caused to the bus. On the floor, we can see some of the glasses that have been left on the floor. Lights has been affected and the windscreen has been affected. Look at the gates here. So inside the car, enormous damage has been caused. Incalculable damages have been caused to this very vehicle. We can see the extent of damage that has been caused here. And that is why the Governing Council is going around to assess the damage that has been caused so that they will be able to put cost to whatever has been destroyed.
Nyako filed that report. Now, the council at a news conference last night accused the University Teachers Association of Ghana of fabricating lies in an attempt to discredit the council in the decision to dismiss some lecturers. They also said that the actions of UTAG largely contributed to the chaos recorded on campus. John Dako is a member of the council.
The Governing Council is saddened by the turn of events, especially the wanton destruction of properties of staff in the university that have led to the eventual closure of the university. The Governing Council knows that several different versions of events that led to the dismissal, termination, and demotion or suspension of some staff, and which have maliciously been misrepresented in the media. The misinformation and misrepresentation have been used as a rationale for the violent attack on lives and properties in the university. Secondly, Council knows the attempt by several individuals and bodies, including UTAG, to question its authority and stampede it into taking decisions that will undermine discipline on our campuses. The Governing Council has assessed the damage caused during the escalation of the violence on the 4th day of the unrest and has taken note of all the issues and concern raised by the stakeholders during and after the period of the unrest. Also, the Governing Council has taken note of several issues of misinformation and sometimes outright lies that have taken the airways regarding the university. We have therefore called this press conference to clear the airways and to set the record straight on some of the major issues raised by certain individuals and groups in several media outlets and on social media. Council noted 3 major misinformation that took center stage on social media and other areas. They include the Council's disciplinary decision on staff, UTAG National's position on Council's disciplinary decisions, and the call on the Vice-Chancellor to resign. In all of this, we wish to assure the nation that the University of Education, UNIBA, and its Governing Council is committed to peace, stability, and the maintenance of law and order. Again, any staff who have been dismissed, suspended or demoted, or who have had their appointment terminated, were taken through due process of the law as established under Statute 36 and in accordance with Schedule G of our statute. Indeed, UTAG National, through their president, Dr. Eriko Poku-Mensah, in response to the dismissal or termination of appointment of the affected persons, had maintained on several platforms that the affected person had been dismissed based on trumped-up charges, and the university failed to take them through due process.
That's from the press conference held by the University's Council. Well, the Council has also been justifying a decision to suspend the lecturers. Richard Kojo Nyako joins me on the line with more. Let me also indicate to you that we have Ernest Edu Azutiga. He's the PRO for the University of Education, UNIBA. He's right here with me in the studio. Mr. Azutiga, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, let's go on the line now and speak to Richard Kojo Nyako. Hello, Richard. Okay. Let's start the conversation right here in the studio. We'll get to Richard Kojo Nyako shortly. Mr. Azutiga, thank you very much for coming to our studio this afternoon. First of all, you left campus this afternoon?
Thank you very much, Gifty, for having me, and good evening to your discerning listeners. Yes, we left this campus this afternoon.
Okay, could you describe to us what was happening when you left?
Everything is calm. You know, the school has been closed down, but for the administrators, we are still working, and so we go to work and everything is okay. The place is very peaceful and serene.
Okay, let us talk about what the council is saying contributed. They're actually blaming UTAG. And they're saying the UTAG has a role to play in the chaos that happened. At this point where we're looking at, peace and, allowing things to go on as normal on campus, does the university think that the council's position will help the situation at all?
Okay, and I suppose you mean council's position on UTAG?
Council's position on UTAG and the role they claim that they played in the chaos.
Thank you very much. For a very long time, the university was not coming out to speak on whatever was happening, and we had certain development that had gone on. This demonstration had been going on peacefully from Monday through to Wednesday, escalated on Thursday. But I think the night before Thursday, members of UTAG National, I think, came to campus, met some of the students. The next morning, they issued a statement that they were in support of what the students were doing. And then shortly after that, we saw how things escalated and things went. So if council, based on the events that had unfolded, holds that position, then I think that is a fair position to hold.
Isn't that a position that is an entrenched position that is basically going to maintain the status quo, which is the closure of the schools for a long time, much more than a lot of people had envisaged?
No, council was giving an account of what had happened and explaining the circumstances, and this was one of the events that led into the situation. But then council also provided a way forward in all these things, and so already we have done an assessment of the damage on properties, and then a cost has been put to it. But let me hasten to say that this does not include the ATMs and others that were destroyed.
So the things that did not belong to the school originally?
Some of the things that did not belong to the school were part of the cost that has come out. But the ATMs, we do not have the expertise to estimate the cost involved in that one. And so probably with time we would have the cost in that one too, and we'll add it to what we have. And
now that you've done the costing, what is going to happen? Is this something that the students are going to be surcharged for, or is this something that the university is going to pay for?
That one, council indicated that there will be a committee to look into this particular disturbance and come out with the causes, the recommendations and all that. So I will await the committee's work and see the recommendations that will come out of it, and based on that the right decision will be taken. But I must say that we are aware that leaving this thing on, allowing it to hang on for a very long time is going to disturb our academic work. And so after
and it looks like already it's taking the effect is there. We're in the second week.
We are going into the second week, and so we want to fix those critical facilities that are crucial to academic work, and then in consultation with RESEC that declare the closure of the school. We bring the school back to session as quickly as we can.
And it makes a lot of people curious, because one of the things that we heard at the time that this happened, there was a closure, and then we had a member of parliament for the area, Afenyo Makin, give a counter directive at the time. It was a very tacky situation. So the expectation was then that, in fact, I spoke to UTAG, and the UTAG was saying that they believe it must have been a miscommunication, because the RESEC perhaps were on the same page with the minister, with the member of parliament, who said they should go back to school because the situation had calmed, etc. Very tacky situation. Now people were expecting that within a week the university would have solved this problem, and then the students would have been back in school. We're in the second week, like you indicated. It doesn't look like there's light at the end of the tunnel yet.
I think that there is. Already we have had the opportunity to assess the situation. We have identified those things that we have to fix quickly so that we can get them back. And so for us, we are working around that. But it is the RESEC that determine the closure of the school. And it is they that are reviewing the security situation. And so as long as they are able to review the security situation and they think that it is safe enough for the students to come, I think that we'll be willing to go along with them.
So the reopening of the campuses, the Ejumako campus and the U.E.W campus, are subject to RESEC security assessments?
Two things. Subject to fixing the basic things that will help academic work go on smoothly, and then direction from RESEC.
Okay, and as far as from what you're saying, you've done the assessment, so that gives you, a better idea of what to fix and how to fix. So you can put a timeline to it. You can put a timeline to it.
I do not have an official position on the specific timeline, but what I know is that we are committed to working very hard around the clock to make
sure like within a week or two.
I think that yesterday at council's press conference, they said by Friday we'll have. By Friday we'll have a word.
So by end of this week.
Yes, we'll have a word as to.
Okay. Exactly. So that's hopefully one part of the problem dealt with. The other part then will be RESEC. What level of engagement is ongoing between the council or the university and RESEC to make sure that their own part of the problem is dealt with?
I think that on daily basis we are in touch with the regional security.
You think that, or you actually are on?
I am telling you. On
because when
basis,
you say you think that,
on daily basis we are in touch with them, and we give them update. Their men are also on the ground, and they are giving them update. And I believe that when they feel it's safe, they will make that declaration. Okay.
Well, I have one quick question about reinstating the sacked lecturers. That is really the crux of the matter. What is the latest with that? The last time I spoke to UTAG, they said they had been given the directive to write a letter to the council asking for the reinstatement of these two. I'll come to you, but let me take a very quick one from Richard Kojo Nyako. Hello, Richard. Richard, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Gifty.
Okay. Do you have any latest from your end?
The university is calm at the moment, just as the PRO indicated yesterday. The assessment was done by the engineers. They took the council round. But I must also say that people are expecting a lot from the council. They want to hear when exactly school will be reopening, because the students, some of them that are in level 400, say that they fear that the prolonging of things might affect the academic calendar, and ultimately the time they will be completing school. And so that is really the concern out there. But as to whatever is happening, whether RedSec is reviewing the situation and all of that, yesterday we were made to understand that council would really fall on RedSec to know when exactly is the appropriate time for them to announce the reopening of the school. So as we speak, we don't have a heavy security on campus because the situation has subsided. The students are not here, so they have the opportunity to put a few things in place. Let's say when we went on, we saw the ATM machines that were destroyed, the screens that were destroyed, and other things that, and they indicated that they would have to clean the university system by repairing or replacing some of the damaged items before they will announce. So these are some of the conditions that were laid before asked by the council yesterday.
Very well, very well. And Richard, I was going to ask this question to the PRO, and of course I will still take his answers, but do we know anything about the reinstatement status of the lecturers who were sacked?
Well, yesterday the council chairman who signed everything indicated that all the people that were dismissed at the instance of the council, but the council will not let go ahead and then receive petitions from people that are willing to petition the council to review whatever decision that was taken. But they explained that there were some of them who were engaged in some fraudulent activities. Others were also engaged in some academic dishonesty practices and other plagiarism acts. And so those people, I doubt the council is good, because some of them that did that, they are already serving suspension from the council. But as to the three people that were sacked, they said that, well, administration rounds, and every administration has rules and regulations. And so if you are not ready to go by what the administration will say, then it means that council will support whatever the vice chancellor will do, because all the decisions that were taken by management led by the vice chancellor, it had the backing of the governing council.
Very well. Richard, thank you very much for that update, and it sets the tone for us to take the final bit of our conversation. Mr. Azutiga, you've just heard what he said. You have a quick one on that before I ask?
Before I go to the question you asked next, I think that we should appreciate that we have 4 campuses. We have U.E.W, we have Ejumaku, we have Kumasi, we have Mampong. As we speak now, Mampong and Kumasi are still running. And so we don't want a situation where we will create an imbalance. We want the academic calendar to run as
run concurrently.
Yes. So we are committed to getting this thing fixed as.
But right now, from the look of things, now that we're being promised a Friday deadline where we're not even sure, we can as well say 2 weeks are already gone. So 2 weeks out of the U.E.W and Ejumaku campuses. That has not already affected the Kumasi and Mampong campuses?
We'll have a way of going around it when eventually we settle.
Really?
Yes, we'll come.
And that won't create another problem on these other campuses?
We'll come up with a plan that would be workable.
Okay, because one of the things that people, the parents of these students and the students, of course, don't want to hear is that, well, we have some imbalances here that's affecting us, and then they also begin to agitate and say we're not happy about this. But let's go back to the crux of the matter about the reinstatement of these lecturers. You've heard what Richard Kojo Nyako said. What is this university's perspective on this?
Thank you very much. In yesterday's press conference, there were a number of indications that were made towards this. Council said that in the spirit of unity and reconciliation, and taking into account the pleas that have come from Ghanaians and well-meaning people, Council is open to receiving petitions from individuals who feel affected by some of the decisions that were taken. But having said so, these petitions will be taken and considered on case by case. Council is not going to entertain any class or group petition. So if anyone feels that genuinely he or she has been unduly treated by Council, then the person can petition. Council will take a look at it, and then Council will review the situation if it deserves revision. But
Mr. Azutiga, that sounds pretty much like nothing is going to happen. That sounds pretty much like the university is going to uphold, the council is going to uphold its decision, because this is the council that took this decision. So if you say that the council will not entertain any group petition, but will take the cases, you know, on its own merit, one after the other, and you bring it to the university council for the council to decide, that's pretty much like, well, the council can go ahead and stand by its decision that was taken earlier.
That's never the case.
Okay.
Council also indicated that they are guided by Article 23 and 296 of our Constitution, which borders on fairness and using good discretion. And so Council will want to do what is fair. And again, they are saying that they are doing this in the spirit of unity and reconciliation. And so if really one is affected genuinely, Council will take a look at it.
But the council took this decision. So if the council is bothered about fairness, and I'm using this word advisedly, bothered about fairness, because the council took the decision, then what I mean, do you get my point?
I get your point.
So I take a decision. I take a decision that, look, I don't want this, and now you tell me that if you don't want this, I'm bringing it back to you to reconsider. But I knew the reason why I took the decision. So that's really it sounds pretty cosmetic.
No, it isn't.
Okay.
You see, the crimes that they are said to have committed differ and vary. So everyone should be taken on its own merit and considered on that basis. So for example, someone is engaged in plagiarism, which is the highest academic crime. Now, when you have someone like this, do you lump that same person along with someone who has perhaps committed a lesser crime?
Like?
And so,
a lesser crime like?
Various degrees. Plagiarism is there. We have someone, a head of department, who is supposed to be supervising people's thesis and making sure that they do the right thing. This person takes monies from students and contracts people to write the thesis
for them.
We have people who are engaged in fraud, forgery. For example, someone had a claim of 67 cedis to make. It turned out that the claim was almost 4,000 cedis. Some people had some keys, and they broke into some offices at the wee hours of the night to pick certain documents that were
30 of them.
There is nothing like 30. In fact, there hasn't been any official petition, but I have seen something on social media. And what they have put on social media is a list of 23. So I wonder what happened to the 30 and the 40s that had been mentioned earlier.
Okay. So basically, we need to wrap up because I've run out of time. So basically, from my understanding of what you have said, we're looking at least up to Friday, based on what council said, to fix the broken, properties and the damaged properties on campus that will allow for, that can make way for the reopening of the school. But it is subject to RESEC's own security assessment of the situation.
Very well.
So we're looking at the whole of this week, being trashed out. We don't know whether you need another week or two or a month
Council said
for the students to go
Friday,
back.
so the announcement could even come earlier than Friday.
Hopefully. So, Ms. Azutiga, thank you so much for coming and for adding your voice to our conversation. Hopefully, the students who have been stranded and those who have been distressed because of the situation will have this problem solved once and for all. Because, of course, when the two elephants fight, it's always the ground that suffers. It's a cliche, but it's a very relevant cliche at this point. Ernest Edu Azutiga is the PRO, the Public Relations Officer for the University of Education, Winneba. In the meantime, JoyNews is learning that the UTAG will be holding a news conference later to respond to the issues raised by the University Council, and we'll be here to bring you up to speed on that as and when it happens.